Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the most famous men in history. He was a Baptist minister and activist who became the most visible spokesperson and leader in the civil rights movement from 1955 until his death in 1968. But how did he become such a big deal? How much do you really know about him? Let's take a look at some of the things that may surprise you about this great man. No. 1. He wasn't called Martin Luther King Jr., not at first anyway. When Martin Luther King was born, he was given the name Michael King Jr. by his father, Michael King Sr. His grandfather, Adam Daniel King, had been born in New Orleans, and his father was a successful barber. However, after becoming a minister, his father changed his name to Martin Luther King. This was in honor of the Protestant reformer Martin Luther, who had translated the Bible into German and was a strong advocate for reform and change during the 16th century. Number 2. He didn't have a particularly easy childhood. Even though his father was a well-known figure in the black community, the family was not wealthy and young. Martin often saw his father struggling with financial difficulties. In addition to this, his father could be very strict, often resorting to corporal punishment and forbidding his son from playing with white children. This upbringing instilled in Martin a deep sense of injustice, which would later influence his activism. However, despite these difficult circumstances, King would graduate from college in 1948 before beginning his ministry. Number 3, he helped organize a boycott that lasted over a year. After moving to Montgomery, Alabama, King met a young woman named Coretta Scott, who he would later marry. While there, he became involved in the local church and began to speak out against racial segregation. In 1955, Rosa Parks, an African-American woman, refused to give up her seat to a white man on a bus, which resulted in her arrest. This sparked outrage within the black community, and King helped to organize a boycott of the bus system. The boycott lasted for over a year and eventually led to the desegregation of buses in Montgomery. This event put King on the national stage and helped to establish him as a leader in the civil rights movement. Number 4. He almost got arrested for this famous speech. In 1963, King played a key role in organizing the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, where he delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech. However, many people don't realize that King almost didn't get to give that speech. In fact, he was supposed to speak earlier in the day, but was delayed due to negotiations between organizers and government officials. The new time slot put him right before the popular singer Harry Belafonte, which threatened to overshadow his speech. Despite this, King went on to deliver one of the most important speeches in American history. Number 5. He was arrested more than a dozen times. Throughout his career as an activist, King was arrested more than a dozen times for various offenses, including trespassing, disorderly conduct, and inciting a riot. For example, in 1961, he was arrested for participating in a sit-in at a segregated lunch counter in Nashville, Tennessee. In 1963, he was arrested for leading a protest march against segregation in Birmingham, Alabama. And in 1965, he was arrested for leading a voting rights march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. Despite being jailed numerous times, King continued to speak out against racial segregation and discrimination. He was even arrested while trying to deliver a speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Number 6, he won the Nobel Peace Prize at the age of 35. In 1964, King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his work to end racial segregation in the United States. He was only 35 years old when he received the award, making him the youngest person to receive it at the time. King used the prize money to support the civil rights movement and to establish the King Center in Atlanta, Georgia, which works to promote peace and justice around the world. This award was a testament to his dedication and hard work in the fight for equality. Number 7, he wrote several books. In addition to his work as an activist, King was also a prolific writer. He wrote several books including Stride Toward Freedom, The Montgomery Story, which chronicled the Montgomery bus boycott, and Why We Can't Wait, which outlined his philosophy of nonviolent resistance. King's writings were not only influential within the civil rights movement, but they also helped to raise awareness of racial injustice around the world. His words continue to inspire people today to fight for equality and justice. Number 8, he delivered over 2,500 sermons. Most people think of Martin Luther King as a great orator, but many don't realize that he was also a Baptist minister. He delivered over 2,500 sermons during his lifetime, and many of them can still be heard today through recordings. His sermons were not only powerful and moving, but they were also deeply theological and rooted in his Christian faith. He often spoke about the importance of love, forgiveness, and nonviolent resistance, which were central to his philosophy of civil disobedience. Number 9, his assassination had a major impact on the U.S. On April 4, 1968, King was assassinated while standing on the balcony of a motel room in Memphis, Tennessee. He was shot by James Earl Ray, a white supremacist who was later sentenced to 99 years in prison for the murder. King's death sparked riots and civil unrest in many cities across the United States and around the world. It was a tragic loss for the civil rights movement and for the United States as a whole. In response to his death, the federal government passed the Civil Rights Act of 1968, which outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, or national origin. This legislation was a major victory for the civil rights movement and helped to ensure that King's legacy of equality and justice would continue to inspire generations to come. Number 10, there are hundreds of statues and monuments dedicated to him. Since his death, King has been honored with hundreds of statues and monuments across the United States and around the world. One of the most famous is the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historical Park in Atlanta, Georgia, which includes his birthplace, the King Center, and the Ebenezer Baptist Church where he preached. Other memorials include the Martin Luther King Memorial in Washington, D.C., and the I Have a Dream Monument in Memphis, Tennessee. These memorials serve as reminders of King's life, work, and legacy, and continue to draw visitors from all over the world. And number 11, people still celebrate his birthday. Every year on the third Monday of January, Americans celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a federal holiday honoring the life and legacy of this great man. It is a day for people of all backgrounds to come together and reflect on the progress that has been made toward achieving racial equality and justice. It is also a day to recognize the challenges that still remain and to recommit themselves to the struggle for a more just and equitable society. During this time, schools are closed, and many Americans volunteer their time to serve their communities in honor of King's commitment to social justice. So there you have it, 11 surprising facts about Martin Luther King Jr. that you probably didn't know. From his humble beginnings to his assassination, King's life was a truly remarkable journey. He was a man who dedicated his life to fighting for equality and justice for all people, and his legacy continues to inspire people around the world today. Do you know any other facts about him? Did you learn anything new from this video? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an amazing documentary.